Brady here. Hey guys. I hope it works. Um wow, okay. This is my first YouTube video. So we'll do it a little bit about me so you guys can get to know me a little bit more. Let's see. Let's start off with the basics. So obviously, you guys are probably here for my poetry account. So I write poetry. That's kind of fun. Um I've been writing poetry since gosh, 7th grade. I think I was in 7th grade when I started. And I just been writing every now and then since then. And then recently I went through a pretty hard breakup. At least hard for me. Don't know about him, but hard for me. Um that just really I needed an outlet, and my outlet was poetry. So I just turned to it, and that's kind of how I got started with writing. Again, back in it. Um So yeah, I've been doing that since like 7th grade, and I recently sent my book to a publisher, so hoping to get that published soon because that's kind of cool, right? Having your own book. Um, I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior in high school. My birthday's in August, so I'm kind of a late birthday. And I have two dogs, a Chiweenie and a Black Lab, which, oh my gosh, they're my favorite things ever. I love them so much. Um, I love music. Absolutely love music, which is kind of funny because I really don't have any musical talent. Like I really can't sing. I'm not very good on like piano or guitar. Like I can kind of play them. The ukulele is my best instrument by far. Let's see. I love to read. I've always loved to read, and I think that's what got me really into writing. It's just because I love reading and I love poetry and words and how you can shift them into like what you want to make it, like dual meanings, like everything like that. I just love it. Let's see. I'm not a very interesting person, guys. I have really nothing going on. um Gosh, I thought this would be a lot easier. um yeah, that was a quick little introduction, so I guess we'll just get into some advice because I'm good with that. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do advice for this first one or just an introduction or anything, but I feel like I need to do a breakup advice because I recently went through a very hard and difficult one, at least for me. I don't know about him, but at least for me it was super hard and draining, and I was hard. And I feel like I have the credentials to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. This is going to be targeted more towards the girls, so guys, sorry if you're seeing this and feeling left out. I'm just not a guy. Don't fully understand your side of it. But I have some points that I wrote down that I just want to talk about. The first thing is like going through a breakup while you're still in the relationship, like you can feel it coming. Like at least for mine, I knew it was bound to happen, but I didn't want to accept it. I was just like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just a hard phase. We'll get through it." Like, and you can get through those hard phases, don't get me wrong. You can definitely, with the right communication, the right support, the right everything, you can get through those hard phases easily. But if that person is not willing to try, why would you try? If they are not willing to try and fight for you in those hard situations, those fighting stages, those just any hard area, if they're not willing to fight for you and fight for the relationship and your love, why are you fighting? Why are you giving them your time and effort and energy when they are not giving you anything? Um, and like while you're still in the relationship, it can, if you're so in love, like, oh my gosh, guys, I was so in love. Like I love this boy with all of my heart. And like I thought I thought he was my soulmate. Like I thought we were gonna get married. I thought we'd have a future. We didn't. But like I loved him so much that while I was still in the relationship and while it was failing, I still wanted to try. And I was there for him. I fought for him. Yeah, we argued. And like I'm not saying I'm innocent, like I argued back. But I was arguing back trying to fight for us. He was arguing back just to respond to me. He wasn't trying to fight. like for us, for the relationship, he was just responding to my texts. That's it. And it's a super, super painful thing when you realize they don't feel the same way about you that you do about them. It's super like disappointing, and it just makes you question everything when you realize, like, wow, this person never loved me. This person didn't care for me. This person didn't even want to try to fight for me. And it's super, super discouraging, and it makes you rethink everything. It's super, super hard when you come to that realization. You're like, wow, was it even worth it? But once you realize like that relationship is failing and there's nothing you can do about it, let it fail. Let it happen. And if it's meant to be, it will come back to you. Like it will come back to you. If you're meant to have it, it will. But don't hold on to something that is not holding on to you. Like when I was going through my breakup, oh my gosh, I said I would never beg. I begged. I cried. I pleaded. I was like, no, please. Like, I thought you loved me. Like, what are we doing here? Like, just please stay. We can figure it out. Like, I can figure it out. I can change. Why? Why would I? I made myself look pathetic. And I don't believe you can look pathetic because I was begging for him because I did truly love him. But also it got to a point where he was just not even respecting me anymore. He wasn't being kind. He wasn't being nice. It wasn't even worth it to beg. And I think that's where like my self-reflect or my self-respect comes in. Because like I give it all up. I wanted him. I didn't care about me. I didn't care that I was walking on eggshells around him. I didn't care that I had to withhold who I was around him. I thought I wanted him. Simple as that. Another point of mine is like, you're heard, you're seen, you're not crazy. When I was going through my breakup, I felt like I was going insane. I felt like I was so alone and no one in the right, like in this world or around me could understand how I was feeling. But that wasn't true. I had so many people around me who have felt the same, if not the same, very, very similar and closely related pain. Like, I wasn't alone in this. And even if they didn't relate to me, they were still there for me. I just had to reach out. I had to open myself up to them because they were right there waiting at the door. I just had to open the doors. I had to unlock them and let them in. And letting people in after a breakup is terrifying. It's terrifying. Even if it's just friendships. Like, friendships fail. You can lose friends. Like, it's just terrifying. But if you take that risk and let them in, chances are they're going to relate to you. They're going to feel the exact same way you felt. They're going to be there for you. They're going to be your support system. And after a breakup, support systems are so, so, so important. Like, I'm going to be so real with you guys. I don't think I would have made it through my breakup if I didn't have my family or my friends or even an outlet. Like, mine was poetry or music or anything. Like, any way to cope. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be here doing this right now. Like, I'm going to be so real with you guys. And you're not crazy. Like, I felt like I was going insane. Like, I felt like he was, I don't know. Like, I felt like I was going crazy for wanting to know why and wanting to know what happened. Like, what made you decide you don't want me anymore? Like you're not stupid for asking why, and you're not needy for asking why either, or wanting to know why, or wanting to know what happened. Like, when I had gotten broken up with, we were talking, and I just wanted to know why. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around why he didn't love me anymore or why he didn't want me anymore. And he was just like, why do you need to know? Like, what good is that going to do? And he was right. It's not going to do any good. But I thought that if I knew why, I would feel so much better. I would be like, oh my gosh, I can change. I can be better for you next time, or for the next person. I can just be a better person. Like, I thought me knowing why was the answer, but it wasn't. Baseline is he doesn't want you. He doesn't love you. Why are you still begging for him? Why are you still wanting to know why when he's clearly showing you he doesn't care and you're not worth it? You're not worth it to him in his eyes. You are worth it. Don't get me wrong. Like, you are so worth it to the right person. Not to some stupid teenage boy who doesn't know what he wants. Another thing is it's on him. Like, if you got broken up with because you wanted more, or you just needed him to be more and to be a man and to grow up and just change for the better, but he didn't and he broke up with you, that shows his insecurity. That's not on you. You're not overwhelming. You're not too much. You're not ugly. Like, it's nothing to do with you, but everything to do with him, because he's so just insecure and focused on himself that he doesn't have the capacity in his mind to even fit room to try to change for you. Like, he is so set in his ways that even if he wanted to, I don't think he could. And that might be different for some cases. Like, you ask a guy to change and he changes. That's great. Good. But not all cases. Like, the man, he's not willing to become the man that you needed him and that you wanted him to be. So he'll just leave, because that's the easier option. Most men take the easier option out. Most men just leave. Not even men, boys. Men don't leave, boys leave. And if after the breakup, he just starts going, his following skyrockets, he starts posting all the time, he's going from girl to girl to girl, that's nothing to do with you. That is nothing on you. It's not, oh, I wasn't what he wanted. I wasn't a good enough girlfriend. I didn't do this, didn't do that. Like, it's nothing to do with you, but everything to do with him. That him going from girl to girl to girl shows his insecurity. It shows his mental state. It shows just how emotionally immature he is, because he feels, and he doesn't know who he is, because he needs girls to fill that hole, the hole that you left, or the hole that you couldn't even fill, that you couldn't fill either. Because if they do not, or in general, people, if they do not know who they are, like themselves, if they are not confident in themselves and rooted in themselves, they're going to have a hole in them forever. If you are basing your personality and who you are off of what other people want you to be and what you think other people want, and just everything like that, and you're not actually yourself, you're going to have a hole. You're going to be searching for it. You're going to be searching for reasons to fill that hole, or not reasons, but like ways to fill that hole through everyone, other girls, other guys, I don't know, substances, drinks, everything. But it's not gonna. And if he's going from girl to girl to girl, or he turned to alcohol and drinks, that shows that he's just not, he wasn't the right man for you either way. Because if he was, I don't know, I feel like if he truly, truly loved you, or if he broke up with you because he needs to focus on himself, yet he's going from girl to girl to girl, he didn't. He lied to you. Like, guys are just so not worth it at all. And if you're going through issues while you're still in a relationship, and you're telling him to change, or there's constantly another girl that he's talking to, snapping, anything like that, or just any way in needing him to change, you can tell him to change. Maybe he'll change. Great. But you cannot change his mind. Like, if you tell him, if there's always been another girl, and you tell him, hey, block her, remove her, unadd her, whatever else there is to do, you can change that, the physical aspect of it, but you can't change his mind. And if he's about to break up with you, you can beg him and plead him and do all that stuff, and maybe he'll stay. But for how long? How much longer is he going to stay for? How long is he going to stay in a relationship that he didn't even want to be in the beginning? How, I don't know, like, you can only change his mind for so long. You can't change him. You can't change his ways. You cannot change the way he was raised. Like, you can't. And maybe you can get him to quit abusing substances and alcohol and all of that. But for how long? Because most guys go right back to it. And the moment you turn your back or the moment you let your guard down, they go right back to it. They go right back to it, and then they'll hurt you, and then it'll just be a whole big ordeal. Okay, for my last point, just let yourself feel. Let yourself feel it all. Don't stuff it down. Saba, oh my gosh, when my breakup happened, laid in bed for weeks. Like, my hair was a mess, never wore any makeup, never got out of sweats. Like, I was just so sad that I didn't want to do anything. I couldn't get out of bed. I barely went to school, and if I did, I would always leave early just sobbing. Like, I was a shell of a person. Period. Like, point blank, like, I wasn't me. Like, I felt so useless because he didn't want me anymore. And I felt like I had based my identity in him. And so when he left, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what my favorite color was. I didn't know how I like to dress, my style. I didn't know anything about myself anymore because I just based it all on him. And you can't do that. When you're in a relationship, you have to be two separate people. You cannot morph into one. You can be best friends and you can interlock like that. But you have to make sure you're separate. Two separate people. Because in case something happens and you do break up, or they pass away, let's hope not, but if they pass away or you break up or something, all you have is yourself. Like, all you have is yourself. So just don't morph into them. Let yourself feel it all, because the more you stuff it down and the more you just save that sorrow and that bitterness, the more it's going to turn into anger and resentment, and the more you're going to have to heal from it later. Let yourself feel it in the moment. Feel it in the moment, and healing isn't linear either. Like, I'm like 3.5 months out of my breakup, and I'm doing good. But there is days when I just can't get out of bed, when I can't do anything but cry, and I just miss him, and I want to call him, and I want to text him, and all of this stuff. But I don't, because I'm not going to reverse all of the healing that I've already done. It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Another thing of like letting yourself feel, let yourself feel, but don't let it consume you. Like, I wish someone had told me that in the beginning, because I got all my friends, I think they felt bad for me, but like, I got invited to parties. I got invited everywhere, but I didn't want to go because I was sad. And I felt like if I was invited, everyone was going to walk on eggshells around me, and they would just be like asking me about it, and I just didn't want to go there. I didn't want to open that can of worms. I didn't want to go there. But I think the main reason I didn't go was because I just let my sadness and my sorrow consume me. Like, I was nothing outside of being sad forever. Like, for the first like month and a half, like, it was hard. It was really, really hard because I had just let it all build up and build up and build up. And I was like, oh, I didn't let myself heal because I thought he was going to come back. I thought he was going to come back, so I didn't let myself heal. I was like, oh, this will last a week. This breakup, a month max. It's been 3. Who are you thinking? Like, what did you think was going to happen? But just let yourself feel it all. Don't stuff it down. If it hurts, let it hurt. You're going to be hurt at some point, and if you're hurting now, let it out. If you need to cry, just go cry. For the love of, like, just cry. Let it out. And if you're a man, if you're a guy, No shame in crying. Like, if your physical body is able to do it, do it. Cry. Let it out. Because there's so much just emotional stress and tension too that comes along with that. And it just, at least for me, like sometimes you can feel so much better when you just let it out. Especially on those hard days. Sometimes I just need to give me 20 minutes. I'll just sob. I need to be alone. And then I'll be okay. It just takes time. And healing isn't linear. So don't rush it. Don't rush into another relationship. Don't rush in to snapping other people, texting other guys. Don't rush into anything like that. Take your time to properly heal. And when you properly heal, it takes a long, long time. And that's how you know when you're doing it right, because you're not using distractions, you're not using substances or alcohol, you're not using other people or guys or anything like that to try to distract yourself. You're just healing. And I think that's the beauty in it too, is that when you heal from a breakup, you heal from so much more than just a breakup. You heal from friendship trauma, like that relationship trauma, like everything. And when you let yourself heal, my gosh, you're gonna feel better than you ever did before. And if you feel like you can't live without this person, just remember you were your own person, and you were an amazing person before you met this boy or this girl. Like, you were your own person before you ever met them, and you were doing just fine. You do not need them in your life. And if you have random sad days, or if you're in the beginning of a breakup and all you want to do is reach out to them and text them and call them and just hear their voice, I get it. I do. But don't. Do not let that urge take over you, because then you'll have to start your healing from the beginning, and it is just not good. My therapist had told me something. She gave me a sheet. It's called Urge Surfing. So it's for like, it can be for addicts or people like recovering, or just like in my case, like healing from a breakup. Like she called me an addict because like I was addicted to talking to him. Like he was all I had for 9 months. We'll round up. Like 9 months. Consider talking would be like 10, 11. But she gave me that. And the base of the wave is a trigger. And I never realized how much I had. Like I would be perfectly fine, and then randomly I'd be like, wow, like I'm like really, really sad all of a sudden. Well, in the background was our song playing, but I didn't like realize it. But like there's so many underlying triggers that just want to just make you text him. So it's like the trigger, and then there's something else, and it's like the peak. The peak is when you're at like your most, like you're sobbing, like you're like, I need him, I need her, like I need this person in my life, I need to text them, I need to hear their voice, I need to call them. No, you don't. You don't need to. You want to, but you don't need to. So that's the peak. And then like if you like let yourself feel it, then it'll start to go down. So it's like a wave. But just let yourself feel it all. Don't feed into those urges either. You're more than that. And this is my final point. Do not base your worth off of anyone else. Like when I had gotten broken up with, I felt like I was useless. I felt like I was disgusting and dirty and not worthy. And I just felt like a shell of a person. Like I wasn't me. And I just felt like I was so unworthy of love and affection and everything, just because one boy couldn't love me. And you are not unlovable just because one person could not love you. You're not. Like, simple as that, you're not. And you are so worthy of whatever comes to you. Like, you are so deserving and just worthy. Like, do not base your self-worth off of what one person thinks. Simple as that. But thank you guys for watching my first video. And just remember, you're worthy. You're worthy of it. You're loved. And do not base your worth off of one person. You are so much more than that. You are so much more than what you're limiting yourself to. Just remember that. Alrighty. Bye, guys.